Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world. Hey, Mama, you know that it takes a village to raise a child, but did you know you can choose your village? That's why I've created a virtual village for you with all kinds of like-minded mamas. They're conscious, they're collaborative, they're intentional. Their goal is to raise really good human beings who will grow up to add value to this world. Join us today in our free private community on Facebook. Use the link in the show notes and let's transform the toddler years together. Welcome back to the Transforming the Toddler Years podcast. Today we're talking about kids who are showing or saying, I don't want to go to daycare. I don't want to go to preschool. Many of you have just made these transitions and you are just a few weeks or maybe a little over a month in to that big, massive life change. And there's a honeymoon period that can happen. There is. When we make life changes, whether or not they were our choice, right? Because you are the one saying to your child, this is the right answer for you. It's time to go to preschool. I know why it's important. I'm going to just make this choice for you. But when these happen, whether they're our choice or not, there is a little bit of a honeymoon period. It can be a week or 2 or even 3 to make that transition. And sometimes it can feel kind of right at the beginning. And we're like, look at us. We did it. We forecasted for our kids and we set them up for success. And we took pictures we did all the things. And then all of a sudden, one day, they start saying, I don't want to go. Recently, I heard from a family and their child was even more explicit. Very clear about how she felt. I want to stay home with you and Mom. I mean, how much clearer can she be about the fact that she knows what feels good? For the majority of her life, this pandemic baby, who is now 2.5, right? Home is where everything was. Mom was there. Dad was there. Those were her walls, her safe space. That's where her social environment was. And now the transition to a twos program is happening. And wow. In the beginning, it was like, cool, this is a fun new experience. Let's do this. And now it is, I don't want to go. So let's unpack this a little bit. I'll also share with you personally when I was a full-time nanny in a family when it was time for this little girl to go to preschool. It can get kind of personal. She was personally attacking me every morning when I would wake her up and say, let's get ready for school. And her first words to me every morning were, I don't like Nanny Cara. I don't like you anymore. Ooh. That's the way to start a day, isn't it? And if I had chosen to take it personally, then every day would have been started with high emotion and angst and anger and frustration and blame. And we don't talk to grownups that way. And we have to go and you're making me late. Ooh, I am really putting myself in an ugly place just thinking about if that's how I had handled it. But knowing that what her words really meant, even though she didn't communicate them as clearly as this other little girl, what she really meant was, I want to stay home with you. Going to this new place is scary and overwhelming, and I'm not sure I dig it. It's hard and stressful, and I would rather be path of least resistance where it's easy and calm and safe. when you look at it from that way, yeah, wouldn't we all? So if you have kids that are saying to you every day or showing you through their meltdowns and their behaviors that this transition is just a lot and they would really just rather be with you, then my recommendation is tell them you feel the same way. Get into their head and then use your words to validate how they're feeling. Yeah, I would rather you could stay home with me too. I really, really love it when we're here together. I really do. But you know what? That's just not the way it works anymore. On these days, I have a job to do, and so do you. My job is to tell them what your job is. Your job is to go to preschool and learn how. This is where I differ from a lot of people. That sentence for a lot of people either just stops at and learn or ends with and be a good kid. For me, there's just so much more at stake, and I want them to know that. Your job is to go to school and learn how to be a good friend and learn how to listen to your teacher so you can be a good student who loves learning. I'm just so explicit with them. This is your job and this is my job. Sometimes I don't like doing mine either, but I get it done. And when the day is done and I pick you up, I will be so excited to see you and bring you back home here where we can share our special time together. Well, that's the key. I feel like sometimes we're just not honest enough with our kids. They are having big reactions, sometimes to things they don't understand the full picture for. So give them the full picture. Tell them the truth, even if you know they're not going to like it. Yes, I will be gone a long time. Yes, your school day takes a long time, doesn't it? I do my work for a long time, and you do your school day for a long time. And then we will come back together. I promise I will pick you up. I love you and miss you so much when I'm not with you. Let's get going. These core 4 connectors that I talk about on repeat, they come through our conversation when we speak with honesty and respect our kids enough to tell them the truth. For me, that is the foundation of everything. And I really hope this inspires you to look at your kids' behavior a little differently, to look past the whining, the crying, the body thrashing, and wonder what's going on in their head and their heart. And can you speak to that to get them on board with the reality of what has to get done? So impressed with all of you. The fact that you care this much, that you're here listening to a podcast about it. Until next episode, please stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.